Welcome to my channel.
Hello guys, so welcome today again. This is Little Lamb Bible Stories. This is a channel where we'll share God's story, God's love, one story at a time. My name is Namaka. So if you're new to this channel, this is the channel where we tell stories about the Bible and other stories. So click the link in the bio, just click the link, share the story, click subscribe, watch it, share with your friends and families. Yeah, it's a story that some of us probably might have forgotten, and we're here to bring us to this story. So today's story is going to be about someone who we know already. We always know, a popular person. His name is Abraham, and when we talk about his two sons, Ishmael and Isaac. So come along with me and let's enjoy the story. All right, so a long time ago, there was this man, Abraham. I'm sure by this time now, everybody knows Abraham. Abraham was a man of God, was a man who loved God, who loved to serve God, who loves to listen to God. He lived his life, worshiping and serving God, and he kept growing and growing. But then he had an impediment. He didn't have a child at that time. So Abraham had a wife called Sarah, or Sarah, whichever way we choose to call it. And then they both lived and grew, and then they didn't have a child. And of course, Sarah was worried. Of course, she would have cried so many times. We had a lot of people in the Bible who didn't have children. And then we all know how life reacts when people react when they don't have children, and they're expecting to have, or they wish they will have. So Abraham and Sarah were together. Sarah was the wife, and they were praying and hoping that they're gonna have a child or have children. And God promised Abraham that he will bless him with a child, that he was gonna bless him. And of course, Abraham had just Sarah. So Abraham knew it was going to come from Sarah. And then they kept waiting, and Abraham kept growing, doing his business. He was a rich man. He was growing in flocks. He was growing in a herdsman. He was growing in servants. His servants were even having children and becoming parents in his home. He was, blessed. He was blessed richly. He was blessed by God in human form, in material form, but he didn't have a child. But he didn't give up. He kept praying and waiting on God, because God promised him he's going to have a child. And he was waiting. And then one day, Sarah, the wife, got tired. The way people think, like, okay, maybe let me help God. God said we're going to have this, but maybe if I do this, we're going to have this. So Sarah probably started thinking that to help God fulfill the desires of Abraham's heart, to help God do his work, he decided to say, you know what? It doesn't have to be me. I have other servants. One of them can bear me a child. I know now, can bear me at that time. Like, I could bear me a child. Maybe sleep with my husband and have a child. And then when you have a child, it's still my child. So that's the promise God is trying to make for us. Let me just help God so that God does not, have to do so much. Now, let me help God to, fulfill his words towards us. And God and Sarah went to Abraham and told him, oh, I have this servant, and probably the servant was a very beautiful girl, maybe a very good girl named Hagar. And Sarah told Abraham, my husband, I'm sure that they should have made a very nice dish, prepared it so that, it can be suiting to Abraham. And he told Abraham, I know God promised us a child, but I think maybe the servants too, if you sleep with the servant and they have a child, it's still our child. It's still the promise God, and so it's still coming from you. So it's still, maybe that's the child God promised you. Maybe God is not thinking now it's going to be me. Maybe God is going to give you a child from anybody. So if that's the case, you know what? No problem. Sleep with my servant, and she can get pregnant for you, and she will bear you a child or children or whatever, and it will become our child, and then the promise of God will be fulfilled in our lives. And Abraham, who was given the instruction, felt, maybe that's true, maybe I don't know. And again, maybe felt Madam was being persuasive and felt, okay, let's try. Maybe that's how God wants to bless us. And Abraham and Madam Sarah, if you're fine with it, I'm okay. And then Abraham agreed to these arrangements. So Abraham slept with Hagar, the wife's servant, the wife's maid, and I don't know how many times it happened, but slept with the wife, and then had the kind of knowledge of Hagar, and Hagar became pregnant. And I'm sure when Hagar was pregnant, everybody would have been happy that, hey, our boss is going to have a child. And Madam Sarah would be like, I told you, that's the child God wants to give us. So now she's going to have a child, and then that will be it. But that was not the plan of God initially for Abraham. That was not who God was promising Abraham. But anyway, but that's not the point. Let's keep going. So Hagar bore a child, and he was named Ishmael. And Abraham loved Ishmael. Abraham loved, of course, if you're a man, you're trying to have children, and finally you get one, you will worship, the child is just going to be your everything. And Abraham loved Ishmael. And of course, by the time you love your child, you're beginning to like the mommy, isn't it? So Abraham loved the child, and of course have shown some affection and love to the mother as well. And along the line, the devil started working the way he walks up and down and tells us to be jealous and everything. Sarah became jealous. And Sarah realized that, okay, I must have made a mistake. Now we have a child. Then I think I'm losing my husband to this young lady. You know what? We're done. Pack your child, take your child, and get out of my house. Take your child and Lot, Sarah, I keep saying Lot, and Sarah sent out Hagar. And the child, and unfortunately, Abraham didn't do nothing. Abraham probably must have said, no, don't do that. But Lot would be like, no, if I hear you say anything. But Sarah sent out the child, the little baby, with the mother. But God saw what happened. But God did not abandon Sarah, Hagar. God still went ahead to bless Hagar. God still went ahead to bless Hagar with and the child. God still made, because Ishmael was Abraham's offspring, so God still went ahead to bless the child Ishmael and blessed Hagar. But God still said his promise to Abraham was a child from his wife Sarah. And as they went on and on, God eventually fulfilled his promise, and Sarah became pregnant and had a son called Isaac. And Isaac was blessed of God, and Abraham was very happy. Isaac was blessed of God, and Isaac and Ishmael became great nations because God still blessed Ishmael. God didn't say, oh, Ishmael was born from a servant. God still blessed Ishmael, and they too, Ishmael and Isaac became great nations that God worked on. All right, so another story, I'm going to tell you how Abraham was going to sacrifice his son Isaac. All right, so this is Little Lamb Bible Stories. Click the link bio click the link, share, and share with families and friends. All right, see you, bye.